Yeah, that's what we was just talking about. Like we had so many like little pockets in there that was like, oh, this is really dope. Like I don't even remember doing that, but AV got that eye. She be catching shit that I'm like, when did I do that? You know what I'm saying? Like what angle was that? I don't remember the camera being in my face right there. So it was dope to see those moments. You know.
And how did your friends react?
Oh my God, they was all crying. They was all crying, and I mean we all from Harlem, so it was just like it made it. It was even bigger for them because it's like, oh. That's this, that's manners, that's, you know, they were calling out all the different things, you know, so her capturing Harlem the way she did was like amazing, you know, especially all the way back from the 90s to the current time. It was like, yeah, you know, it was really dope to see Harlem change throughout all the years, you know, especially like in a film because a lot of, you know, films, they try and go back and it's not really done right, you know, and she did it perfectly. It was chef kiss.
How did you do that?
Mine is burnt down too.
I know.
I'm so sad, but happy we got it on tape.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, one of the main restaurants in the movie burned down, which is another aspect of gentrification, arguably. But I'm gonna leave it alone.
Right.
And how did you do that sort of Harlem over the years on a sort of limited budget when you're you know 'cause you can do so much with massive special effects budget, but
yeah, I mean we did you know special effects was definitely part of it. You know I think just starting from the ground up, like I think you know everything that we could do just to immerse people in it with the wardrobe, you know, the set design, you know, the production design rather, and then I think just kind of taking it through the whole like post-production and like adding visual effects, like just anything that could help us map it out. And also I think New York in the way that it changed over this particular era was very very dramatic. Like you went from a city that had a very like historical architecture, like you know there was architecture in Harlem that at that point had existed for like more than a century, and then when you see in the 2000s how that dramatically changes and the city becomes a place that's more like glass and steel and just like mysterious, and kind of antisocial in a way, because for a city like New York and a neighborhood like Harlem that's has so much vitality and you want to see people just peeking their heads out of their windows, and you don't have that as much anymore with the way the city is kind of being redesigned for a new millennium. And so I think we tried to pay attention to that with the camera, with the production design, with everything that we could through the like everything that we could to make you feel like what New York was, and then polish it up in post. Shout out to the visual effects department. Do the rest.
And that period, early mid '90s New York, is like has shaped American culture like for the past 3 decades, like immensely. Tell me about sort of I guess being in that time and having lived through it at least a little bit, right?
Yeah, I was born in '90.
Yeah.
So I was outside. You know, even at 5, I was outside. But no, I mean it was crazy. It was like really taking us back, and it was an amazing experience. But I definitely had to like tap in, like she said, like Harlem has changed so much, So it's like to film in real time and then to see the after product was crazy, because we literally shot in real time. At one point, I think we filmed me being on the phone on a whole different block. I don't know how you got that. Yeah. When I ran to the corner and I got to Terry, I was like, that's not where the payphone was, like, but the way she just made it
off.
And it was not a cut. It wasn't like it was like a jump cut. I don't know what you did, but I was like, yo, this is crazy.
It was really challenging to shoot the film because I think shooting a period film, especially on a small budget as a first feature, is already going to be like immensely challenging. But we also were shooting during the pandemic. I was actually just reminded yesterday, very traumatically, of how much COVID alone, like those COVID costs, just ate up our budget. Yeah. So I think between that, New York, the production restrictions are like crazy. Like we could only use one side of the street. Like how can I point a camera anywhere? So what she's acknowledging is the fact that there were certain scenes where we're going to shoot this angle on this block, yes, and then finish the scene with this angle on this other block, just to keep us in New York City in that time period. Because it was difficult for sure.
And the movie sort of revolves around love for a child. How much acting did you have to do when it came to that, and how much are you sort of reaching into your own?
Oh yeah, I got 2 kids, and my kids come with me everywhere. They was on set. They wasn't too far away, so it's just like, you know, naturally the chemistry with little Terry and middle Terry and older Terry, like it was just there. And I'm already an old soul, so when it got to like middle Terry and older Terry, I already knew how to be mama, you know what I'm saying? And younger Terry, he's just so cute. And he was the same age as my daughter, my oldest daughter. So it was amazing to be a mom. It's fun to be a mom, to fight for that, you know? And in the movie, being told, you know, Inez being told that she was a bad mom, it hit her hard, you know? Motherhood is hard, you know? So a lot of it hit home, whether it's what you told in real life or not, you know what I'm saying? Like just being a mom is hard. No matter how much you got, how little you got, being a mom is hard, but it's a beautiful thing.
Do you feel like this has been your biggest acting challenge to date, or are you? Was it?
Absolutely.
How does it sort of
This is this everything I've been in has always been like funny stuff or like the ratchet baby mama. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like really in my duffel, but like she pushed me. You know, AB pushed me, and she just pushed me in levels I didn't even know that I could reach, you know what I'm saying, and really tapping in and, you know, making it happen and getting done and just using whatever fuel that I had to get it going. I used everything. I put everything into Inez.
And did you want her for this? How did the connection happen?
I feel like it was destined to be, you know, I do feel that strongly, but it wasn't, like, I feel like if somebody would have brought her name up initially, which people, I feel like your name probably did come up early, especially since she's from Harlem. Yeah. But I'm like, that's cliche, especially like me being in New York. I don't want to just like, oh yeah, let me just call out every like, right. You know, well-known New Yorker with a thick accent like me, you know. And so I was like, well, you know, is there anything you can show me? Like, and as she said, like a lot of the roles that she's done already, it didn't really lean towards this. Yeah. So I didn't really know what to expect. And I felt like it was so important to me to cast somebody that not only had the acting chops, you know, to really dig into Inez, but also the authenticity. Like, I felt like I didn't want to see somebody who portraying Inez who didn't know this woman in real life. So I was like, if any actress is not willing to put themselves on tape, etc., then I'm not taking that leap of faith. And she did. We saw hundreds of women, and she was just one person among that, you know. But what I can say is that she was the one person that my casting director called me as I'm looking at it, and she's like, did you see Teyana Taylor though? Or Teyana, or like a lot of people. But you know, Teyana, she might. And I'm like, yeah, it was just so exciting. And then we just kind of, you know, we met. She auditioned twice. You did the tape.
Auditioned like 33 times.
You did the tape.
That's how old Jesus was.
She did the tape. We had a conversation.
Conversations.
You know. And then, you know, we and then we played. You know, I asked if she'd be open to, like, you know, redoing one of the scenes with me. And she did, and she just knew how to get there, you know, immediately, and yeah, the rest is history.
So you wanted this transit, you wanted this part.
Absolutely. Oh, I took my weave out and everything. I was dumb cute before I did the audition, and then when I read it, and I was like, oh, not because I always wanted to be taken serious, you know what I'm saying? So, like, without even knowing whatever it is she heard about me, like, I knew how I needed to come across. I knew this was my moment, and like, you know, with a self-tape, you get to really like dive in and do multiple takes, you know, because it's not like a live on audition. So it's just like I took my weave out, like no makeup, and I just, you know, I went and I did my shit, and I was like, nah, this is the one. It just, I felt it, and it's crazy because I don't really like to do like a lot of stuff, you know, like I'll turn down a lot of stuff because people see me and feel like, oh, you know, we seen this, or we need her to be sexy, we need her to dance, and it's just all the cliche stuff that's just like, especially after Fade came out, I'm just like, do not call me to dance and nothing else. I don't want to be a part of nothing else like that. I don't want to be a singer in the movie. I don't want to be, you know, a rapper. So, you know, when this flew across the table, it was like, not only was it a Harlem woman, but it was just like, oh, this is really dope, and I really get to get in that. So I was excited to do the self-tape, and I was excited to do whatever she wanted me to do, even like all 33 times. I was excited all 33 times. I pushed through all 33 times.
We're going to leave it alone.
Yeah. She said, get rid of the second 3. In her head is 3.
And
mine
scene.
is 33.
And scene. We can cut right there.
And what did you see in her?
And Teyana.
Yeah.
Teyana is a generational talent, you know, and when you show up on set, she brings all of that. And, you know, in the city, you know, she come out, step out of the trailer, the whole city's waiting on her. So to see her be able to separate the work and her celebrity and to dismiss all of that and just take direction and to be in that and play alongside of her, it's like, yo, this is where you been at? I've been waiting on you for 33 takes. So it's a joy. It's a joy to work with her and to be that support system, you know, and to AV, and AV stretch you. So it's not like you're going to come in with your gravitas and she's not going to pull different things to make the whole project work. And so it's such a beautiful thing to be a part of the story.
She's a chiropractor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, you think you got it all together, and she come in with that. You're like, oh,
Yeah,
I feel better than I did
yeah,
before.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so that's the beautiful part about it.
But doesn't quite break you, sounds like.
Right.
No,
She
it
gonna
does
kill
though.
you.
You know, yeah, there's moments you need to be broken to do this film because what she has written down,
I think
the
you said she ain't
spirit.
gonna break no bones.
No, no break no bones. No. But yeah, she don't break no bones.
haven't yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're breaking a story or you're breaking a character,
Yeah.
when you're reading it, you have to surrender what you know and be broken into what Lucky wants to do. And AV did a great job of writing the spirit of Lucky down on the page. And so all I had to do was surrender and take her direction.
She did a great job at protecting us too.
Yeah.
That was the most important. The only way you can surrender is by knowing that you are protected.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Because some people, they want their takes, they get their takes and they keep it pushing. But it was like her mission to make sure she protected us. So we were able to be vulnerable and like break down and, you know, and find those little pockets that we didn't know we had because we felt protected.
And then I heard you talking earlier, it sounds like you have some other sort of challenging acting roles that just came out after this. And tell me about that.
I just finished doing the Book of Clarence, the biblical movie. So it's just like a complete different character. But I love that. I'm just tapping into things that's far away from whatever it is that I used to do. And I want to keep it that way.
Ready for the life shift.
Yes, yes.
Or in the middle of the life shift.
Yes, but this is the one. This is the one that's going to open the door for everything else. This is like my most vulnerable, most like, you know, you can tap into a character, but to tap into Inez is just like, it's just different.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Anything else that you want to make sure you...
Yeah, stay tuned. Check it out.
March
Tell
31st.
all your
March
friends.
31st,
March
yeah.
31st.
Yeah.